Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Irwin. I'm one of the pastors on staff here at Lawrenceville First, where our mission is to make disciples of Jesus Christ who love God, love others, and reach the world. And I want to give you a quick recap of what took place in the warehouse this past Sunday. If you've been with us, you know that we've been in the midst of a sermon series that we've called Things I Wish Jesus Never Said. And this entire sermon series was built around the idea that as Christians, there's just parts of the Bible that we wish weren't in there. And sometimes we just act like they're not in there. But in this case, what we don't know will hurt us. And we camped out in Luke chapter 9 this week, in which Jesus gives us a very difficult command. Jesus tells us that if we're to follow him, we have to pick up our cross daily. And that's a really tough teaching. In fact, we actually began with Luke chapter 9, verse 1, and we saw in that text why it was that Jesus calls disciples to him. We believe that Jesus calls people to him to know him more, and then once we know him, to go, to know and to go. And what's interesting is that the disciples literally became apostles. They went from being learners to being ambassadors. And as they did that, they went out into the community and they shared the gospel. And they shared the good news with people who needed to hear it. And as they did that, they cured people and they made the society better. And as they were doing that, Herod, who was the ruler over Galilee, got wind of it. And he said, "What's the deal with this Jesus guy? John I beheaded, but who is this? Who is this Jesus?" He asked a great question. And it's almost as if Jesus heard him asking that very question, because in just a few verses, we see in Luke 9:18 that Jesus asked the disciples that exact same question. "Who do the people say that I am?" And they said, "Well, some people say that you're John the Baptist. Some people say you're Elijah, some another prophet." But Jesus asked them, "Who do you say that I am?" And Peter piped up and said, "You're the Messiah." In that moment, we see that the church is built on the confession of Christ. And it's a powerful moment. And we can see almost in the disciples' eyes that they're excited because for the very first time they've identified who Jesus truly is. And they're all excited about it. And Jesus kind of bursts their bubble in one fell swoop and says, "Yes, I am the Messiah, but I'm not the warrior you wanted. I'm the Savior you needed. I'm going to lay down my life for you." And then he gives us this powerful verse that if you want to be my disciple, the way to do it is not to become a warrior, it's to become a cross carrier. Now, I know that's difficult in the church today because we're more about wearing our cross than carrying it, but Jesus is telling us that it's not about what we wear, it's about what we carry. And for us today, the final takeaway from our Things I Wish Jesus Never Said series was it's time for the church to stop wearing the cross and to start carrying it. I hope that you have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday here in the warehouse.